I've talked about this video so much in other unrelated videos of mine that I figured I might as well make an actual video about it. This is RachDog12K, who is currently going viral for putting out a video calling out her current ex for cheating on her after they got together when she cheated on her husband with him. Did we follow that? She is saying somebody lured her out of her marriage like they had a fishing pole. With a little bit of a promise of tariffs to use as bait. And that person, the person she cheated on with, happened to cheat on her. Wait, nope, you're right. Max, we don't know the full story. What if the marriage sucked? To my ex who lured me out of a great marriage and then got me and then cheated on me. Okay, Max, there has to be more to the story. There kind of is, but I'm going to show you how it ends. This is her comment section. I'm so glad this happened to you. He didn't cheat, sweetie. He just got lured out. Hate from Nigeria. Lured out of a great marriage is crazy mental gymnastics. I cheated on my husband and then got cheated on by the one I cheated on my husband with. I can't afford another account strike. He didn't cheat. Much hate. So how did she follow that up? She posted a 7-minute video explaining the entire thing, and it is a hard watch. I've done it twice. But before we get into it, we're going to take a very, very short rest stop at another one of her videos, just to give you an idea of the type of person we're talking about here.
If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
I love that the party of anti-immigration is the party of if you're not happy, you can migrate. And the comments here are not any better. Oh, I understand it now. Oh yeah, this tracks. And the final puzzle piece was put into place. Came from the cheating video, it makes sense now. Here it is. I spend a lot of time on this channel defending women, not because they need me to, but because people like Jake Doolittle like to open their mouths and be like, oh, she's a whore now. And I have to go, no, she's not, dude. Grow up. Or we get into Dr. Taraban going, if it weren't for their sexual attraction, women would be useless. And I have to sit here and just go, just sleep with men then. If you only ever like men, if you only ever want to spend time with men, you only ever get along with men, you don't even like the way vaginas look, and you happen to just be sexually attracted to women, close your eyes. A hole is a hole, sleep with a man. Today, we are not doing that. There are going to be times in this video where she goes, I was young, and I'm going to nod my head and go, hey, you were young. There's going to be times in this video where she goes, I wasn't used to the attention, and I go, you weren't used to the attention. There are going to be times in this video where she goes, I made a mistake, and I go, you made a mistake. But that does not excuse cheating on your partner. And then when the internet comes at you about it, you go, well, it was my mom's fault, it was my coworker's fault, it was my husband's fault, it was everybody's fault until it was mine. The internet does not like this woman for multiple reasons. I presented two, and I'm going to elaborate on the first. So this is probably a good time for you to strap in. Oh, it's going to be a bumpy ride.
So I think I need to respond to this post, and thank you, Riley, for bringing up. I need a story time, because I think it needs a story, because I'm sick of explaining it.
If you've been on this channel long enough, you know that I'm not a big fan of loud equals funny, which is just like a nitpick, right? Like that doesn't really matter to the rest of the story, but that is so much of her personality. I went through so many of her videos. Like her profile says comedic relief, and what that means is make up a scenario. Punchline is me just yelling. And scary is not a word I've used to describe a lot of women. But that is someone who's going to yell at me in a parking lot one day. Brother, I was born in this country. All right, chill.
I got pregnant when I was 19 years old, okay? And my mom was like, you're getting married. Actually, yeah. No, I gave birth when I was 19. So I was like 18-ish when I was pregnant.
I watched one video somebody made about her in this situation already. And when they got to this part where she said, I was 19 and I already had a kid, and my mom said, okay, well, you're getting married. The person whose video I watched, and I don't want to name them because I didn't really like the video, but what she said was, you're 19, you're an adult, it's your decision. But I don't think we have enough information at the time. Like I was out of a familial situation by the time I was 19, but there are plenty of 18, 19, even young 20-year-olds who are completely controlled by their parents. And it's so easy to be like, grow up and get out of that, but it's much harder to do. And if you're 19, pregnant, living with your mom, stupid and scared, and you don't know what to do, and your mom goes, you're getting married, you're probably getting married.
So my mom like forced it upon me. She was like, you're not going to be one of those mothers who are not married, and you're on your own on welfare, because she worked for the welfare department. So she was like, my daughter's not going to be one of them. I deal with that on the daily, and you are going to get married.
There's also a lot of like, you can tell where her ideas come from.
Now, we loved each other. Yes, we were madly in love. We were high school sweethearts. Yeah. So we were just pregnant. We moved in. My mom's like, you're getting married. So we got married. I was 5 months pregnant when I walked down the aisle. Everyone, it was the talk of the town. We're in a big family. Oh my God, she's pregnant. Oh my God. That's why my mom's like, you're getting married. She's not going to be made fun of because her daughter had a baby out of wedlock. And I was just like, okay, whatever. I went with it.
That part is kind of dumb where she's like, I'm getting married so that people won't make fun of me. My mom is forcing me to get married so that people do not make fun of me. However, I'm already the talk of the town because I'm pregnant and now getting married. So congrats on identifying a problem and running straight towards it. Keep running. We're almost at the Capitol.
I went with it. I was 19. What the fuck was I going to do? And I loved him, like, madly. We were crazy in love with each other. That's why it was a good marriage. We were best friends. So when we got married, he became a bricklayer, okay? So it was a great job in Detroit, and for a long time, I mean, he was building all the buildings downtown, everything like that. We bought a house. We were the only people out of our friends who had a house. Everybody came to our house. It was the party house. We really had a good time. It was a great marriage. It was a great, happy family.
So you're in your early 20s now, have a kid, have a house, everybody comes over to party. You think it's great. You're best friends with your partner. What happens?
Then he started getting laid off all the time because the economy just wasn't what it was. Like, shortly after we got married, I mean, it was like every winter he would get laid off. Every winter, because you can't lay bricks, you can't lay concrete. It's got to be a certain temperature. You know what I mean? So we struggled. We lived paycheck to paycheck every day of our lives.
I do not know enough about the business of being a bricklayer to get into more specifics here, but don't you expect not to work in the winter if you can't lay bricks in the winter? This is just where it starts to fall apart.
There were always single men all around. All the time there were single men. Every time there was guys that lived across the street. They always flirted. There was always alcohol involved. Everybody was always drinking. Like I said, our house was the party house. So I never did anything, but then there were times like, and I just don't even know. Like, I just don't, that's a whole nother video.
Why is that a whole nother video? So my husband kept getting not work in a job that has no work over the winter, and men around me everywhere just kept flirting with me. My neighbors, what are they doing outside? Is that for me? No, don't mow your lawn. I'm gonna like that. You know what? I have a kid and a couple of Coors Lights in the house. You want to come over? I don't know how having a kid and being the party house works. I don't think it should. But you see us go from my husband was my best friend. He was great. He got a job in a house for us. The job started crumbling. And when things crumble, you find cracks. And the cracks were there are men around me. There are other, probably better, men around me.
We're going to cut that out, and that'll be another video. I didn't know what it meant to take vows, you guys. I was 19, and I probably was ready to pass out from lack of oxygen because I was standing in a church full of everybody there for me and 5 months pregnant, which I hated my pregnancy. I was miserable. I was not the girl who dreamt of getting married and walking down the aisle. No, I want to run the beach and be free and lay in the sun.
The vows you make between you and another person, I will consider sacred. The vows you make in that situation between you and God when you're 19, what do I care, right? I don't think being young is a good enough excuse to say, I don't know what it meant to not cheat. I don't know what sickness and health meant. I don't know what it meant to have a kid now. I didn't know we were supposed to raise a kid after we had it. I thought getting married was the end of it all. I didn't think we were going to have to exist together afterwards. I want to be free. I want to run on beaches. That's fantastic. And if it was just marriage, I could deal with it. If it was just marriage, I would go, all right, you cheated. That sucks, but it's not any of my business. But there's a kid involved. And when there's a child involved that you brought into this world, you don't really get to say, I want to just leave and be free. There is a child you now have to raise.
That's it. No, I don't want to do anything like family. I don't know. I didn't want to do that. I mean, it wasn't my dream. I did it, and I played face for a long time. So he's always laid off. I have to, like, I'm not educated, so I got to go get educated, right? Like, I always...
They always do that. At some point, they sneak in the little coffee drink into there. I drink my coffee while I'm recording, but it's usually while something's playing. Again, I'm not going to beat it into the video, but the whole I didn't want to be a family thing is completely fine. Getting married super young and realizing you made a mistake happens. It happens, and we would be dumb to pretend it didn't. However, there's a child involved. You want to separate yourself from the marriage? Cool. But wanting it to be you alone on a beach is not it when you have a child to take care of.
Like, I always waitress at night. So my husband at the time would go to work bricklaying during the day. Well, that's how it was during the day in the beginning. And then I would go at night when he got home, would cook dinner and everything. As soon as he would come home, we would switch, and he would stay there with the baby at night, and I would go waitress, and then I'd come home. That went on for a while. Then, like I said, he started getting laid off, so then somebody had to go to work. So for Mama to step up to the plate. So I did. I was like, yeah, bitch, I'm ready. I'm ready to get the fuck out of this house.
It just sounds like their marriage, their great marriage, and being best friends did not last very long. This sounds like it's within a year or two that they're just dissolved.
I was going to school. I was working at a hospital, working at the hospital, clinical hours at the hospital, and bartending at the same time. And he was just staying home, which is fine. We were a team, but I started losing respect. He started, we just really, hey, the dog always wants to drink my coffee. We just broke apart. It was getting bad. And I had resentment, and there was this guy at my new job who would not stop flirting with me. And he was tall, dark, and handsome, and he said all the right things. And I was just, it was the new job I was getting into, and he was like the best at that job. And I just watched him and learned from him every day. And I just was enamored by him. And he never left me alone every day. He just was a talker. My phone was blowing up. He never stopped.
Couple of things here. Losing respect for your man for not wanting to work to support your family is one thing. Losing respect for your man for being the part of the team that takes care of your child is an entirely different story. It is hard to work multiple jobs and to go to school. But she is not talking about how her relationship looked at the time. She's talking about how that's what she was doing and then happened to flirt at those places. I know that if I was at a job, sitting at an office with other people, and there was one woman, regardless of how attractive she was, and she flirted with me, I would not flirt back. I know that if she messaged me when I wasn't at work, I wouldn't message back. I know that if she wanted to sit there and talk to me after hours, I wouldn't stay, and I know that I would have already told Lee about it. If someone else is flirty with you, and you're both just kind of flirty people, whatever, I guess that's not any of my business, but this sounds like it has definitely crossed a boundary into her marriage, and she didn't try to stop it. It is not up to other people to stop you from cheating on your spouse. That is on you.
It was irresistible. It became irresistible. I was pushing him off of me. But then we went out, all of us, as a group, and we drank.
I would be a lot more receptive for the "I was pushing him off of me" comment if she didn't just say he was blowing up her phone and they were talking a lot. It sounds like they were both flirting, and she wants to make it sound like it was just completely one way.
And when alcohol's involved, it's not good. That's why I don't drink anymore. Literally the beginning of the end. I think weeks later, my ex-husband found his receipt in my vehicle and asked who he was, and I think that also he may have started to go into Verizon and start looking at the hundreds and hundreds of text messages that were going on each day.
Hundreds of messages. Hundreds. Both ways, but it's not your fault, right?
He forgives me. What do people give me?
That's a lot. I give Toast kisses all the time. On her forehead, sometimes on her cheeks. Her cheeks all the time. You know what I don't do?
He forgives me.
Let her lick my lips, and if I did, I wouldn't put it on the internet. That's a lot.
So in that time, I literally, like I said, it was the beginning of the end, and I broke down, and it was a very quick downward spiral. I'm lucky that I made it out, never losing my job or, also graduating and just getting through all of the stuff that I got through, because I was in utter turmoil the entire time. I got divorced, and then I moved in with the dude. My son didn't want to live with him. I mean, it was just a whole horrible thing. My son just dropped out of school. It was just, everything went bad when I got divorced, and I should never have. And I was just delusional the whole time. I was completely delusional. I drank so much alcohol. I could not make decisions properly. My family would not interact with me anymore because I was making such wrong decisions. Nobody liked the guy that I was dating. So I had no support.
There's so much that happens there that I can't piece together, because she says she moved in with a guy, presumably the guy that she cheated on her husband with, because that's the guy who's eventually going to cheat on her. Her son didn't want to move in with them. And then she half says her son drops out of school. But we just jumped from that son being a baby to now not only that son going to school, but being old enough to drop out. So at the very least, there is mountains of information that she just does not want to say.
They were just shocked that I left my ex. It's good times, Good times. Good fucking times. No, it was the worst of times, and I don't know how I made it out. It was the grace of God that I made it all out alive. And now I'm like,
I am so deeply against the whole main character thing. She tells the story like it was all a test on her. She tells the story like God was testing her, testing her, testing her. I'm going to test you with lust and temptation, not at all acknowledging the people that she hurt along the way. As a person, as a singular person, how many other people are you allowed to hurt? How many other people's lives are you allowed to make worse in your journey of becoming a person? When you cheat on someone, so many other people are affected. But we're going to keep it down to just the two. When you cheat on someone, there's someone in that situation getting cheated on. You don't think that sucks for them? It's not a test for you. You don't get to say, oh, but I made it through. What about them? What about your child? What about your family and their family? There are so many people, she just said, had to stop talking to her because she was making awful decisions. But that's a test on her, not on them. It goes back to all those conversations we've had about estranged parents, constantly going, it hurts me that my children don't want to talk to me. It hurts me that I had to punish them. It hurts me to write them out of their will because I kept making snarky comments at her when she had our granddaughter and now she doesn't want to see me. It is so very much not about you. How do you explain that to people who consider themselves a main character? Flat earthers who only think the world spins when it revolves around them. How do you explain that? Oh,
way on the other side, and it's crazy because the boyfriend, the boyfriend, the guy that I left my husband for, he still literally tries. I literally still had to just block him because he still tries to come into my life.
didn't he cheat on you?
And he lives with a girl. So this is how I know that he's just. That's why I can make this fucking video, okay, and say, one thing about me is that I know that I'm never like you. Okay, that's what the fucking video is. Why is everyone flipping out over the video? Like, I went into the comments and they hide these comments, and I approved all of these because I want them to be seen. I want all these comments to be seen. I take accountability. If you look in my follow me or anything, I have a series called Hard Life Lessons Learned, and that's one of them. The grass is not greener on the other side. Like, I've lived and learned. I have learned, okay, people? I'm not a narcissist. I live alone.
I'm not a narcissist, but everything is about me. Okay?
And mostly because I decide to, and I am an isolator. I don't like to be around others, but I don't like to date. I don't know. I am alone. So that's what I get, and it is lonely and sad. But what hurt the most out of all of that was my son. And that's why I would have stayed, okay? Because mothers should, you should give of yourself for your children. And I was only thinking of myself. I was very selfish and drunk.
I will say, I don't think people should give themselves up for their child in a way of staying in bad marriages. But that's not what happened here, right? She said it was a great marriage. She cheated her way out. That's entirely different. If you're in a bad marriage, I promise you, staying for the children does not help the children. But cheating on their other parent and then them dropping out of school because they don't want to move in with you and your new partner is just not the same thing.
Drunk and stupid, but now I'm on the other side. Now I'm getting emotional, but there you go, Riley. That's the story.
Before I give a few more of my own comments, I'm going to go through hers. Still act like you're 18. I think people are flipping out because praising infidelity as being allured shows a severe lack of accountability and awareness. What I heard, my husband didn't do as well as I thought, so I cheated on him and blamed him. They were young, they got married, mistakes happen. This personality type was probably going to split up from them anyway. I don't think cheating was the right way to do it. And I don't think to say, oh, he wasn't making money, so you went out and cheated on him is the right way to say that. That's how you get a bunch of incel men being like, oh, these gold diggers. Mom's fault, friend's fault, kid's fault, husband's fault, coworker's fault. Yeah, these people love to take accountability when it's just a word. I've taken accountability. They can't tell you how, and they can't tell you how they've apologized or made it up to the people that they've affected. I've taken accountability in the exact same way Michael Scott declared bankruptcy. He opened his office door and said, I declare bankruptcy. I've taken accountability. Accountability is chasing you, but you are faster. That's a Nigerian insult, right? Where they're like, wisdom is chasing you, but you are faster. Anyway, I'm so sorry to introduce you to Rach Dog 12K. I hope that you have made it somewhat far in this video, and if you haven't, I need you to apologize and take accountability for doing so. I'm going to leave it there. This was not a fun thing to watch, rewatch, or watch a third time. I'm going to let you all go now. This is my favorite thing to do, and you're my favorite people to do it with. You can say goodbye to Toast. You can say goodbye to me. Goodbye.